My friend reported that her daughter, returning from kindergarten, displayed a serious expression unseen before. She discarded her backpack and walked directly to her father, whispering, "Daddy." My friend added, "You should never tell your dad, especially mom, about this." The girl then gestured with apprehension towards the living room. Upon investigation, my friend discovered a pair of unfamiliar men's shoes, black leather, size 12, not belonging to him. He phoned the police, but not for the reason one might suspect. 3 years prior, he had abandoned a lucrative legal career to work from home and raise their daughter while his spouse pursued architecture. He packed lunches, read bedtime stories, painted nursery walls, and endured dance recitals that seemed insignificant to others. He had faith in them, in her. However, love doesn't always express itself loudly when it departs. Sometimes, it slips away quietly through the back door. The initial signs were late meetings, cold dinners, and silent phones. She began emitting a scent associated with an unfamiliar cologne. One evening, I heard her laugh echoing from the driveway, her laughter cutting off before she entered the house. I didn't inquire about it. Instead, I started jotting down my questions. Her fabricated stories were intricately crafted. She was using partial truths like strokes on a canvas. I claimed to be working late on the Dawson proposal. However, the establishment had been shut 2 weeks prior. I mentioned attending a team-building retreat. Yet, she was seen packing silk rather than sneakers. Then there was a slight slip-up, a child's innocent mistake. My daughter announced one morning that Uncle Jason was at our house. He told Mommy that I was his secret. I responded with a smile and a nod. Later, I drove her to school and embarked on my true endeavors. Jason, it turned out, was listed as a senior partner on her firm's website, divorced, and had served 2 years for securities fraud in 2011. Currently, he was mentoring Lillian on business growth. The prolonged gaze of his eyes in group photos gave me all the answers, so I kept vigil. I established silent alerts on her phone and employed remote desktop software. Additionally, I created a secondary cloud account linked to her messages. She unwittingly gave me control over our empire, and in doing so, I uncovered everything. The weekend getaways, hotel bills, incriminating messages that spelled doom for our marriage. He's too passive to retaliate. By the time he realizes what's happening, we'll be long gone with our newfound wealth. They were plotting to liquidate our home, joint accounts, even our daughter's trust fund. She forged my signature on a power of attorney document. He guided her through it. I didn't challenge her. Instead, I observed her closely. Here's my strategy. I discreetly consulted with a family lawyer, paying in cash and leaving no paper trail. I transferred our daughter's trust to an unchangeable subtrust under my parents' names. Next, I traced her incriminating messages, including timestamps and geolocation data. I sent copies to a friend at the DA's office via a burner email. Lastly, I informed Jason's parole officer about his unreported out-of-state travel, not a lie, but a hint. I submitted an anonymous grievance to the Board of Architects, presenting proof of Lillian forging signatures and altering permit documents, both violations under her professional license. Additionally, I established a separate savings account for our daughter, depositing any available funds there. Then I waited. The day everything unraveled was uneventful. Lillian arrived home early and paused when she saw the police. They weren't there about Jason. Instead, they were there due to the shoes. I had placed them strategically just before pickup, and I told my daughter, "If you ever feel scared or perplexed, tell me immediately." She did, pointing it out. I contacted the police. They interrogated Lillian regarding the unauthorized individual in our house while a child was present. A neighbor confirmed that Jason had visited multiple times. The next day, Jason's parole officer intervened. Later, the licensing board and district attorney appeared. It all unfolded in stages. She believed she had silenced me with secrecy. Instead, I surrounded her with proof. The law firm dismissed her. Jason was apprehended for parole violations. Lillian was indicted for forgery, lost her license, and what hurt her most, tarnished her image. I sought sole custody. She didn't contest. For years, she assumed I was oblivious. In reality, I was merely patient. Now every morning, I prepare my daughter's lunch. She clings to me as if I am the safest haven. At times, she queries about her mother. I tell her honestly, Her mother aired. Yet we are fine now, and I vow to protect you always. Isn't it ironic? How those who seem least threatening are often underestimated. They anticipate you'll shatter. Instead, you become more resilient, more astute, more detached. She thought treachery granted her power, yet it fueled my relentlessness. And I seldom spoke loudly, only raised my standards.